Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth again. So today, gonna discuss the what's next on the undefeated former super middleweight champion of the world, Gilberto Ramirez. Ramirez returned to action on Friday, July 9th, when he took on former world title challenger, the always tough Sullivan Barrera. It ended up being a really good fight, it ended up being a blowout in a fight that I thought was going to be competitive. Ended up being a blowout for Ramirez, who just looks on his game. He dominated Sullivan Barrera, put him down 3 times en route to a 4th round TKO victory, and now he is looking to land a title shot. You know, obviously him and Dimitri Bivol had verbally, kind of been talking, saying they want to set up a fight for the end of the year, but now that might not happen, and we'll get into why. So the big question is, what's next for Gilberto Ramirez following that TKO victory over Sullivan Barrera? So we start with the #1 fighter in the division for me, which is Dimitri Bivol, the undefeated WBA super champion. Now, this looked to be the projected fight for both these guys because they both feel like they're avoided, and Gilberto Ramirez signed with Golden Boy. Dimitri Bivol is with Eddie Hearn in DAZN. It's a very makeable fight, but they right now Dimitri Bivol seems to be, now that's just I'm using that term loosely, seems to be the front runner to land Canelo in the fall. But that's brand new, it's fresh, we do not know for sure. We know Canelo is looking at other options as well. If obviously if Bivol gets the Canelo fight, then Gilberto Ramirez is not going to fight him. Excuse me. But if he doesn't, I think they're absolutely going to fight each other. So Ramirez, it's about 50-50 right now. We really don't know. But I think it's a lock that he's going to fight for the title against Dimitri Bivol. Personally, I think he loses that fight. But he's looked good lately, so we'll see. But if that fight doesn't happen, he's going in another direction, obviously. #2 is the undefeated unified champion, Artur Beterbiev, holds the WBC and IBF belts. I think it's an outside chance that if Bivol goes and fights Canelo, that maybe Ramirez and Beterbiev could get together. But I think Beterbiev Beterbiev's an option for Canelo as well. If he doesn't get Canelo, I think he wants to try to unify against Joe Smith Jr. But if that falls through, if both those options aren't there, Gilberto Ramirez is a good logical opponent. And I don't think they'd be completely opposed to it, but will the promotions get together? I'm leaning towards the less likely, but I wouldn't completely rule it out either. It is possible. Okay, #3 is Joe Smith Jr., the WBO champ. Well, Joe Smith, I really think if he does not get the Beterbiev unification bout, I really think he's probably going to make a mandatory against Usa Salomonov and then go in a fight with Daniel Jacobs possibly early next year. So I think Joe Smith is not looking at Gilberto Ramirez, but another fight I wouldn't completely rule out. Now, #4 is, I believe it's Eliter Alvarez right now is #4 for me, the former WBO champion. I don't see this one. Alvarez still hasn't fought since he got stopped, brutally stopped against Joe Smith Jr. last August. I think, Alvarez says he's continuing to fight, but I think he's going to slow roll it at least for this year, come back and shake off some rust, and then jump back in feet first next year. But I don't see him taking on Gilberto Ramirez. #5 for me is Gilberto Ramirez. #6 is, I believe it's Marcus Brown now has moved back into the mix here. Marcus Brown, I don't see the fight between these two. I'd like to see it happen, but this is PBC and Golden Boy working together. And unless it's a fight that has to be made, like a mandatory fight, I'm not seeing it. #7 is Badu Jack, the former 2-division world champ. Golden Boy working with Mayweather and PBC, not going to happen. So no way. And then I have a couple more guys. I got I believe Lyndon Arthur and Anthony Yard, Englishmen at the back. I mean, again, it's another fight. If it has to be made, I think it could be made. But I don't think these two guys are going to fight each other, so I'm leaning towards the no on Ramirez fighting either one of them, Yard or Lyndon Arthur, because I think they're setting up for a showdown with each other. And I'm not sure if I had any... Oh, yeah, Maxim Vlasov is also in the top 10. That fight, I think, could be possible if Ramirez wants to move in line for a world title and lock in a world title fight. I think I could see him and Vlasov fighting in some kind of an eliminator, but I'm leaning towards the less likely. So for Ramirez, right now, I know he wants a big fight, so I think he's going to push for that. But can he get one made? Can he get a title fight? If Canelo and Bivol fight, then he's shit out of luck, because that was his biggest fight that he wanted, was Dimitri Bivol. But if it doesn't happen, I think, again, he's a lock to fight Dimitri Bivol. But outside of that, it's going to be tough landing one of those big dudes, one of those big names in a title fight. But I wouldn't completely rule it out. Ramirez is a good fighter. He wants to fight. He wants to get in there. And I think he's going to be met with somebody's going to lock up with him and want to do the same thing. So we'll see what happens. But that's the what's next on the undefeated former super middleweight champion of the world, Gilberto Ramirez. Hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.